It's your mind, your day. And when your feet hit the ground, if you're already screwed today, this is not good.
99% of your results is from your actions, consequence of your actions.
It's a much easier outlook on life to just wake up and blame everything instead of really having to look in the mirror and do some digging, do some soul searching, find out what the heck do you really want and what's it going to take to get there. And that's where most people stop. What's going on? It's the Talk About It podcast. I'm Loren Fulmer.
I'm Victor Dantas.
And today we're going to have a fun episode. We had a guest lined up. They couldn't make it, and we're already here. So we're like, hey, let's go.
We will still do it. We don't necessarily need a guest.
Who knows? But we thought we would at least start off just kind of sharing how this came into fruition, the Talk About It podcast. Victor and I, we met.
Who had the idea first?
Probably me. I'm more...
You're smarter?
I'm just smarter, more witty. No, I don't. Actually, I do remember how some of that came into fruition, man.
How?
We've been doing this almost a year. So it would have been probably a year prior to that, because it took us, kind of small talk and more or less shooting the shit saying we're going to do this.
What was the first day that we talked about the first time? Do you remember? Or...
Well, I think it was actually you had talked about your experience, with technology and the computers, and you're savvy with social media and YouTube, and I know literally nothing about that stuff other than to open up a link.
I remember at first we were thinking about only doing us two, just like we're doing now.
Right.
But then I said, no, we need to bring people because we need to educate. Our guests will educate our audience on whatever industry they...
And us.
Yes, and us.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, we started just bringing guests in and hey, tell us a little bit about this. And so the whole Talk About It came into play. I think we tried coming up with names for this show, too.
We recorded one upstairs that was terrible. I think now I remember what happened. We recorded for 40 minutes and the audio wasn't on. And we were like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's when I was like, maybe he's not as good with technology as I thought he was,
Yeah, but then we came down to the studio. We started on that corner with nothing in the back, just a TV.
Yeah, all white table.
The light switch.
yeah, we had nothing, man. But it's cool. And we have had a whole lot of fun. I want to say we're just talking about we're almost 40 or 50 episodes. So we're getting close to that. So that's exciting. The support everyone has given us has just been incredible.
We have over 110,000 views on YouTube total.
Really?
Yeah, total. Yeah, of course, counting the full episode plus the shorts.
Right.
Of course, YouTube pushes the shorts way more nowadays. It's harder to gain subscribers and to have people stay for a 45-minute episode. But shorts are going well.
Yeah.
Our last episode is going well. The shorts, with the Marine,
with Eric Atkinson. In fact, someone reached out last night. A buddy of mine messaged me. He says, "Hey, I just watched my cousin. It was his cousin. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but said I just watched the first episode, his first episode." Talk about it. He was like, "Man, that was awesome. Good stuff." So
that one is one I watched almost the whole thing with Eric. I think it was interesting, and people are finding to be interesting too.
Absolutely. That's one thing I love. Regardless of the industry, regardless of the person, we all have a story. And just in being able to sit down and small talk, it's been a lot of fun.
And just so everybody know, there's never any script. The guest literally gets here. They ask us what type of questions we're going to ask. We say, no, we're just going to sit down and talk, ask questions.
Well, and most of the time, their intro is kind of where, tell us about yourself. And then we kind of, gather on some things that are said and just go whatever direction from there. So, there's definitely never a script. I don't even have a clue half the time what I'm going to ask her. And we're doing that right now, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
We have no idea. We're just sit down. Let's try this.
Yeah.
So what would you say we've had a lot of guests, a lot of great conversations, but if we had one person in particular that has really vibed with you, or you felt like, man, that was good?
I would say I learned a lot with Pastor Jordan Knight. Yeah, I learned a lot with him.
We should have him back on, actually.
Oh, yeah.
He would be great.
For sure. I think we should have Pastor Jordan Knight and a Catholic guy. Two different religions. No, not to fight. Have them.
Fight. No.
I think we need to have some sort of open mind here and educate the audience on the differences. And
that'd be cool.
Yeah. That's I think so.
This is random. What's like the primary religion in Brazil?
I think it's Catholic, the first one, and Christian. I think I would say it's very similar to here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of 50-50.
Gotcha.
Is it like here?
Yeah, I would say it's probably pretty close. I mean, Catholic has, I don't know numbers like that, but I mean, the Catholic religion has been along a long, long time, been around a long, long time. And so is Christianity, but I feel like it's probably fairly equal. Yeah. I would guess.
Yeah, I think it's the same in Brazil.
But there's so many, you start, and I still don't know all this stuff. You have like Methodist and Lutheran and Baptist, and I don't know. I mean, I grew up going to a Baptist church. If you were to ask me what do we believe differently than a Lutheran,
most people don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Most people don't know.
Yeah, I still don't. So maybe that's something we could work on. We could have someone like that come in.
What would you say is your favorite?
Man, I had a lot of fun. Really just chatting with Steve Glasgow.
Steve Glasgow was good.
Mark Nate Thomas. Wyke. Mark Thomas was a great one. I really wanted to do that one with Mark because I've had this weird thing, just thinking about like dead people. Like I could not just sit there and put makeup on somebody who's dead.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Got to do your hair, Nancy. I mean, I just can't imagine what any of that is like. I don't have it in me. I'd be like, no thanks, I'll be in the other room.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
But Nate Wyke was a good one, just talking food and kind of his journey. And
sure.
They've all been. Larissa with dating.
Larissa Hill.
Yeah.
A lot of different industries, like different people that knows about different things we brought here. It's always good. We're learning a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what we learned. We've laughed a lot too.
Yeah.
But, we have, Tony Angara with the jiu-jitsu and police officer stories and going through the Marines, which we've had a couple military.
Yeah. Anthony Law, Jason Robbins was good. Yeah. Usually good people we bring. Good content.
It would be, I was thinking, man, one day it'd be cool for like Mother's Day, have our moms.
Yeah.
Have our moms.
I have my mom speaking Portuguese and yours.
Yeah. But does your mom speak any English?
Very little bit. She's improved a lot, but I wouldn't say she's like she's not even close to being fluent. But
we could. My mom speaks Portuguese, so we could do it.
Yeah, all right, let's do it.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't at all.
I know,
but no, that'd be cool. I thought that would be something kind of different or cool we could do. My mom will tell some dumb, embarrassing stories.
Let's bring your mom. My mom is not. My mom doesn't live here, so it would be hard.
We could probably have a heyday with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll put you on the spot. What is something you regret, bro? Like what's
something that I regret?
Yeah. Something in your life that at some point, no matter what age or something that you're like, and not that we say regret because, it's happened. You're who you are, where you're at for a reason. But what's something you're like, man, I messed up?
Man, I don't think I regret of anything I've done.
Good for you.
I think there's a lot of stuff I've done that didn't go well.
Right.
Yeah, but
a lot.
I think I tried to learn from those experiences. I think I made more mistakes than I did good. Good things, if that makes sense. So I think with everybody it's like that. You have more failures than success in most cases. Most people is like that. But then you learn from those small failures on what direction to go next time. So I wouldn't say I regret of anything.
Well, there's things that like if they'll say if you're not having failures, if you haven't failed, you're not trying hard, you're not setting the bar, you're not pushing yourself enough. If you've never failed, well, you're just giving yourself a path of easy.
Yeah, the more you fail, the closer you are to success.
Right. Yeah, and just keep trying.
What about you?
But for me, it would just be something dumb when I was young. I was shoplifting. I got caught shoplifting as a kid. Damn. I was trying to steal
tell us that story.
God, I don't know why I do this to myself. So I was in high school. I was with a buddy and had gone to the mall. and he wanted this. It's a Mark Grace Chicago Cubs jersey. And
Okay.
my buddy really wanted it, and I said, well, I don't have the money to get it, but I can steal it for you. And that's what I did.
How?
And,
You just put it under your
yeah,
shirt?
I took it off the hanger and put it underneath. We had the coat, like a winter coat, you know, and I just had pulled the pockets out and shoved it under there and was holding it up against my body. And got out of the store and, you know, thought we were all good, and we kind of kept walking around the mall. We didn't leave right away. Well, we had come back kind of closer to the store, and all of a sudden the guy he's pointing at us with the empty hanger. He's got the empty hanger. He's like pointing, and you know, so you're like, what any kid does, you look at each other and you're like, run. And we took off running, and gosh, this is so cute.
No, you said you regret of doing it. So
yeah, hey.
it's okay.
So we take off running. I was a little faster than my friend, and he got caught. So they catch him, right? And so I am now in the car, out in the parking lot, like adrenaline just pumping, you know, and I'm like scared. You're thinking like, man, my parents are going to kill me. We're going to jail, like everything terrible. And so I'm sitting there in the car freaking out, you know. He never comes, and so eventually I'm like, I have to go in and face the music, right? Like, I got to go back in. So I sat there in the car long enough, never came. So I get out, I walk in, I go back to the store, and they have like the mall cop and the employee and my friend, you know, and he's on the phone with the police actually. And I come back in, and they're like, there he is, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm coming back, you know. And the guy actually said, he says, you have 5 minutes to get that jersey, and I won't press charges. So I take off running like Jason Bourne through the mall, you know, to like go get this jersey and bring it back. And I brought it back. He didn't press charges, so I didn't get a criminal record for shoplifting or stealing or theft, whatever that charge is. But I was banned from the mall for 1 year. I was not allowed to be at the mall.
Where was that mall?
It's at Galesburg, Carl Sandburg Mall. It's closed now. But yeah, I'm telling you, young.
I mean, that's a good thing to
Young
regret.
and dumb, you know, and I will never forget. I know my mom will probably watch this story or this episode. But one thing that really hit me, man, I remember my mom looking me dead in the eyes and going, you're a thief. Like, you're a thief. And that put things in perspective real quick, you know. And you don't want anyone calling you a thief, but let alone your mother.
For sure.
You know, this is a woman you spend your whole life trying to make proud. And when she looked at me and says, you're a thief, like that got me. That hit me pretty hard.
You never forgot about it.
No.
You shouldn't never,
Yeah.
It's good that you regret about that.
I have not stolen anything since. I mean, that kiboshed it, man.
Is there anything else you regret?
Oh, I could write a book, probably. You know, I sprayed the fire extinguisher in school, you know, and I got kicked out of school for a period of time for spraying a fire extinguisher, you know, like that. It's just dumb stuff.
But you learned from it.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
What if you didn't? What if you didn't do that? And then now, as an adult, you'll be like, "Oh, that fire extinguisher.
Let me try it." Yeah, I might try it today. I don't know, but no, it was dumb. You know, you have to obviously, like, all actions have consequences. You need to think before you act. I think so much, especially at a young age, I was very quick to just do it. Like if it popped in my head, or maybe it would, you know, in that case, like my friend wanted the jersey, I got you, I'll get it.
Oh yeah.
Or you just don't think, you know, and you just want to be funny. I wanted, like, I don't know, it just is what it is. But I learned a lot from the many stupid things that I've done.
Well, that's good. And growing up, like as a teenager and early adulthood, did you do any crazy things or no?
Yeah, plenty. But we don't need to get into all of that. But I'll tell you, as a parent, though, with like my kids, and now I'm like so probably over the top. I'm sure my kids are like, Dad, stop, like shut up, you know. But I'm so pushed the whole thing, like everything can be going perfectly. Life's good. You're killing it. one little stupid mistake, one little, oh, let me try this.
Can change a lot of things.
And it can change it really fast. You think about it, everyone in a car, as a kid, and you're driving, we're all music playing loud, maybe even having some drinks that you shouldn't be having, and and we're living it up, and then boom, all of a sudden one little thing happens, changes everything.
The reason why I didn't do crazy stuff like that when I was little is because I was always very scared of my parents. If I did anything like that, like with the fire extinguisher or stole something, my mom would beat me up.
Yeah.
I was like very scared of doing anything wrong. So in school, I didn't do any crazy stuff. If I didn't have good grades, my mom would make me read a lot. This is my parents never had any type of timeout stuff. If I didn't get good grades, my mom would make me read different like articles or books for kids. She would write 2 pages of questions. So I couldn't answer those questions if I didn't read. So she would take hours reading it, writing questions manually and telling me to, okay, read those 3 things, answer those questions, like 7 pages. And then in 3 hours, you can do whatever you want to do. You can play. So everything I did in life, this was the way my parents were punishing me, making me read things and answer things. I think it helped me a lot. So like, there was never something like, no, you cannot play soccer, you time out, you stay here in this room, stay on the corner looking at the wall. No, come here, read this and answer those questions. Anything. If I argue with someone, if I did something that's like not considered good or right, my mom would make me read and answer questions. I think I don't see parents doing that often, but my mother, especially, she emphasized a lot the text interpretation. So like she was wanting to make sure I read things and understood everything I read. So that's why she would do that. And I did that for years and years. Like from 10-year-old until like 14, that's the way she punished me, making me read and answer questions.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, it sounds, it's sure better than a boot in the
It's a way
backside.
to punish you and make you better.
Right.
Improve your brain.
My dad would you'd get like a cowboy boot in the butt. And like when you messed up, that's what you would get. And it's kind of up to you to figure it out on why you better not do that again, you know? But so yeah, same thing. I mean, I never wanted to mess up. If there was one thing that was worse than me, I would probably rather you kick me, punch me. Don't tell me I disappointed you, or I let you down. Like that's the worst thing as a kid, at least for me, is when your parents look at you and you're like, man, we thought you were better than that, Yeah. And you're like, I am. I just did something stupid,
There was a time I got home with a pen, like those pens for kids, like the colorful ones. You can change the color. And I got home with one of those, and the pen wasn't mine. And I lived kind of a couple blocks from the school. I got home. She saw that pen and said, "You're gonna go back to school now and give to the person you got this from." And I walked to the school. Of course, the person that I got, that was a how do you say, like a team, not teammate, but like classmate.
Yeah.
She wasn't there anymore, the little girl. So I just gave to the director, to the superintendent, and said, "This is not mine. My mom made me come here and to give this back here." So this is the type of stuff. Always very strict. That's the way my parents were. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Don't do the wrong things because you're gonna suffer at home.
Right.
So I always was scared of doing anything like crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine would say, whatever, you will get it twice as bad, when you get it home. So, the cops, anything like good luck with them, but it's gonna be worse, when you get home. So that's good. Yeah. And then we're parents now. I hope my kids are smarter and more disciplined, than I am, but they're bound to make mistakes, right? They're bound to. So you almost want them to.
You need, they need to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they won't know anything.
Right.
You only learn from mistakes.
But I do find myself as a dad, like trying to like give them all the extra warnings possible. You know, like, just trust me, man. Don't just be careful. You know, I'm always like, guys, be careful. You know? But I guess at some point they're gonna mess up.
At their age, how do they think? Do they think you're too like strict, or do they think
I don't think so. I've been pretty open with them. I mean, I've shared even the shoplifting story. I've shared stories with them. I tell them, you know, hey, your dad. You know, I think we grow up with this image that our kids, that our parents, you know, we're the kid, we're messing up, we're trying to learn. Our parents have it all together. And the reality is they were kids once. You know, they may, and half of these grown-ups, and, you know, I'm 42, I don't necessarily have it together. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you have this image or perception that our parents do. And so I think quite often we just think like our parents, you know, they didn't mess up. So I don't have any problem telling my kids, like, no, I did this, like this happened.
And I don't think that the fact you tell them what you did, that they will do that.
No, God, they laugh at it. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that, Dad. That was stupid. And I'm like, yeah, it was. You know, you're right. So, what's something, we talked about this too. Before you ever came here to the United States. Just I've never been to Brazil. I'm sure I have in my head. I have these. So
before I talk about the United States, how do you think Brazil is?
Okay.
In your head.
All right.
How do you land in Brazil? How do you think? What's the? I don't know. How do you look? How do you think it's gonna look?
Well, I think I am pictured this. It's got to be a very big area. It's very population is massive, right? Yeah. So I picture this, and probably much more updated than what may be in my own head. Yeah. But I picture like a big downtown area, probably where I'm going to start, right? And then I assume I'm going to want to go to a beach somewhere. If I've heard anything about Brazil, that you have good beaches, you know, water, beautiful women, you know, that's what I pictured, this whole like big beach life, right? And then outside of that, I don't know what I would have to expect. You know, maybe like food trucks and you know, stuff. I don't know. I sent you one place where they were like lazy river. They were like floating down a river. Yeah, and tubing, that's in Brazil. And you said there's snakes, and so I said, "Oh, I'm out." You remember that? Yeah. I said, "Hey,
those
what
are
about
two
here?"
different places. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brazil, like every state looks like it's a different country.
In Brazil?
In Brazil. So it's like you don't see a lot of changes between North Carolina and South Carolina, for example. You don't see that much difference between Iowa and Illinois, you know. But in Brazil, you will see huge difference as you cross the border from one state to another. Like the landscape, the accent, mainly, like the accent changes a lot from one state to another. And if you compare the South and North, you would think that they're not from the same country at all. So, of course, we all speak Portuguese, but the accent is completely different.
Well, and we have that in America, though, like with the L.A.
We do.
In New York. You know,
do you think it's a lot of the difference is that
I
much?
hear people say I have one. Like if I even go, I've even been in Chicago and people are like, "Where are you from?" You have an accent. Like, I don't have an accent.
Really?
I don't think I have one at all. But yeah, we have that like New York and the Bronx. Ain't from the Bronx, you know, like you.
No, I can't tell.
Is that good, Adam? Is that good?
Hey, I can't tell the difference in the accents here, but I don't think it's that much different.
Right. Well, maybe not in compared to what.
Because when people talk about accent here, most of the times is they realize you're not from here, and that's when the conversation about accent comes from. Right. So like, oh, I see a different accent. Where are you from? Like
you're like Nebraska. That's what you should start telling me.
So one thing that happens a lot with Brazilians in the United States is people are like, oh, so you're Brazilian. Speak Spanish, let me see. People think we speak Spanish in Brazil. Yeah. Most people. And I was surprised by that.
Yeah. I thought before me and you, remember I was asking you about Spanish stuff.
Yeah. Most people think Brazilians speak Spanish. Right? But when I'm in Brazil and tell them, oh, Americans think you speak Spanish. Nah, you're lying. Everybody knows speak Portuguese. People think that everybody knows about every other country, and it's not like that. No. And especially Americans have like I mean, I think only immigrants will be able to see those things, but Americans have a bubble. People don't want to know much about people outside the United States. It's just America.
It's getting better.
No, it's definitely getting better. And of course, you cannot generalize.
Right, not all.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like, I think there is, I mean, big cities is different because there's a lot of diversity. But like in the country, it's kind of, people don't know much. I've had people saying like, so in Brazil, it's you just see the monkeys on the street and the snakes and speak Spanish. Let me see.
Yeah, like so far off, right?
And I'm like, no, that's not Brazil.
But look, they do that right here in America. When I lived in Arizona, everybody, they say, where are you from? I'm from Illinois. They say, oh my God, we love Chicago. And I'm like,
Yeah,
Chicago,
kind of...
I'm nowhere by it. I actually don't care for Chicago. We've had this talk. But like, no, screw Chicago. I used to be like, no, and that's just right here, So everybody, one thing that's really cool about life in general, right? We all have our own perception, and our perception is reality.
We all think that everything we believe is the right thing.
Right, right.
Like imagine a person in China eating scorpions or eating any other crazy things that is crazy to me, but not crazy to them.
Right.
So if you're there, it's normal. So don't tell them that they're wrong.
No.
It's wrong for you that lives here that never ate something like that. So that's the type of stuff like.
So what was something for you? You hadn't been to America. You're on your way. And you picture, what was kind of your picture, and then what was some eye-opening experiences for you?
So one thing that every single immigrant, every single person that comes from other country or that lives in another country that never been to America knows that America is the country of the opportunities. That's first of all. Like you want to work, you want to make money, you want to really see you growing in life, go to United States. That's the only place on earth that you're going to get there and in 1 week you have a job. It's the only place that you can guarantee that. The place that will never have a lack of job. It will always... If you're struggling, go to the United States. That's why there is 15 million illegal people in the United States. And every day there's thousands of people crossing the border because people all over the world, not only South America, people fly from Russia to Mexico to cross the border, from Ukraine, from Europe in general, from Asia. That happens all the time. People want to come here because of the opportunities. That's the first thing. Second, I would say is the safety. Is one of the safest countries in the world. So, for example, talking about from a Brazilian perspective, I mean, people here don't know what's not safe. Nobody knows what's an unsafe place in the United States because there's no unsafe place in the United States. Of course, you can say south side of Chicago.
Yeah, there
is dangerous place in every place in the world.
Right.
But if you walk in Chicago, you can have your cell phone. You can do... Like in Brazil, there are places that people will be like, don't have your cell phone off your pocket. Or don't. Maybe it's better and safer to not even have your cell phone on the streets. People will tell you that. In some places of Brazil, and not talking trash about Brazil, there's millions of tourists every month there. It's a great place. Of course, if you know where you're going, everything's going to be safe. But if you're walking places there you shouldn't be walking or going to places that you have no idea where it is or how it is, it can be dangerous. Just like if I'm walking south side of Chicago, right? But the main thing is, I think the numbers show a lot that the United States is very safe compared to any other country. Of course, there's small countries that you cannot compare, but like countries the size of the United States, there's not any as safe as here. And I mean, you won't get robbed in the U.S. You won't be like driving your car. There's two guys in front of the car. Get out of the car, and it happens. I know that, especially in big cities, but it's not
common.
It's not common.
Right.
Like it's very hard for something like that to happen. And if it happens, most of the time the cops will catch them, or catch them at some point. Maybe the same day or 1 year later, but they will catch. Compared to Brazil and most other countries, for example, we have the favelas in Brazil, and the other third world countries or emerging countries, we have those neighborhoods that the cops don't go. So the government don't have access to those neighborhoods. People take care of those neighborhoods, and people is like usually the drug dealers. People that live in those neighborhoods, they they like the drug dealers because drug dealers protect them. Drug dealers is their cop in their neighborhood. And we talk about 300,000 people neighborhood. So like it's big places that the cops don't have access. So like that's the type of things that make difference between the United States and other countries, most countries. Even in Italy, Spain, you will have neighborhoods that are very dangerous, you know. But the cops goes outside of Chicago. If something happens, if people kill 5 people there, the cops will have access to that. Maybe will not be like looking for more people, because if you do, there will be more shooting and stuff. But they have access to those places. In Brazil, no. If people get shot in the favela, find a way to take people outside of the favela if we want to save them. So safety is the main thing. Opportunity, I knew here would be good. I would find the opportunity wherever I am. Like I live in a small city today and I have a bunch of opportunities. Besides that, I would say that it's an organized country. Traffic is organized. Have you seen traffic in India?
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
So,
chaos.
Yes. So everything's organized here. You want to get like, for example, driver's license. In one day, I got my driver's license here for $20. In any other country, 6 months class, you need to go with a teacher for 6 months, have the class like in a simulator, and after that, you go and do your test on the street. So it's like there's a lot of in other countries, everything is like it takes way longer to open a bank account.
Right.
So like here, everything's so quick, effective. You'll get it done and you'll go to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the only country that's like that. And the whole world knows that. In Brazil, we say things in the United States work. That's our saying in Brazil.
Right.
Things work in the United States, which means that everything's organized. It's safe. If you get a job, you have a job. If you get fired, you find another job. You can get your driver's license in one day. You can open a bank account in 1 hour. Those things don't happen in other places.
Right.
Those are the main things that, from an immigrant perspective, that we see it quick.
But what was your, I want to get to what was your image? Do you picture a bunch of white people with straw in their mouth and, being like, well, hey there, buddy. What was kind of what you
the
had
image,
expected? Yeah.
The landscape.
Yeah.
Landscape is houses without wall, because that's very different. In other countries, is every house have a wall separating the street from the house.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
So a guy here was like, I can just go and knock that person's door. There's no gate. That's crazy. So that's one, when it comes to landscape, that's the first impression of, I knew that was like that, but when I saw it, I was,
right.
It's crazy. I can step on that person's front porch.
Right. You can just go right up to the door. Right.
Some doors will be open.
And not only that, once a year, we put big buckets of candy on that front step, and we let everyone just come around and grab it.
That's
and we feed
crazy.
them. Yeah.
But Halloween, Thanksgiving, those are all things from the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Like no other place do those things. I think I love it. I like it.
Sure. Yeah. No, and I've never left the country, but I do truly believe this is the best country to live in. We've talked to, but by far, I can't imagine. And I do want to travel and see those other countries. I have an absolute great appreciation for culture, even getting to talk and, and hear stuff. I love when we meet, some of the food drives we've done. We meet people from the Congo. Just being able to talk to them is so awesome. And being able to hear some of those stories or their experiences. But yeah, I always love to hear what did you think it was going to be like here?
I think traveling is one of the most important things because of that. You understand what's your perspective. You understand that you're so small. You understand that you just become more humble. You understand that you can't be complaining about your life in the U.S. And that's one of the main things that I'm like, man, why is there a lot of Americans that just say, this country is not good? Why? That just tells me that person never traveled.
Right. But not only that, I think, look, man, I'm a firm believer of not only is your day going to go in the direction you decide it's your mind, your day. And when your feet hit the ground, if you're already screwed today, this is not good.
99% of your results is from your actions, consequence of your actions.
So many people, even in our community here, you know, like, oh man, this town doesn't have anything for us to do. This place sucks. I don't even know why I'm still here.
What do you have to offer?
Yeah, then go. You know, like if that's how you really feel, you know, put life's short, man.
Yeah.
Put some pen to paper and start putting it together. Don't just sit here and complain. Because that's really what a lot of people do. And in my opinion, it's a much easier outlook on life to just wake up and blame everything instead of really having to look in the mirror and do some digging, do some soul searching, find out what the heck do you really want and what's it going to take to get there. And that's where most people stop. Like, oh, that's what it's going to take? Psh, I'll just sit right here and keep complaining.
Yeah, a lot of people just want to complain. Complaining is too comfortable. It's too easy to complain, you know? But yeah, I just here's where the opportunities are, you know, in the U.S.
There's opportunity everywhere. If you stop and look.
Everywhere. Yeah.
One thing I always think about, like you want to talk business, and I mean, gosh, if here in America, if we're so far advanced and we have so much stuff in order, what the heck stops, like, say, let's go to Brazil or let's take some of these business practices. We already know this works. And we know people here with a need. If there's people that have a need, why are we not going there and solving a need and you know, finding some way to tie financially, you know, some investment to that? You know, I don't know.
It's
I've
crazy.
always thought about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I see like especially the third world country. So Brazil is not considered a third world country. No, it's an emerging country. Okay. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and there's a fifth one. And even in those emerging countries, we see that we are like at least 30 to 50 years behind in everything. And you see that clearly, that people start talking about something that here people have been doing for a long time, you know? Yeah. And it's not that you're going to get there, people are just riding horses. It's not that, you know, but like drive-through, bank drive-through. Every single bank have a drive-through. In Brazil, the banks are running ads saying we have drive-through.
Right, that's their new stuff.
Yes,
that is awesome.
But it's not like
their hotels say we have color TV. They're like, we now have color TV.
It's not like that, but yeah, but that's the type of things like and the people's mind as well. People are too, you know, if you talk about, I don't know an example, but like there's several things that people are just so late when it comes to mindset, you know, and you see very clear the difference between the mindset here and in some other countries, you know. I mean, I don't want to keep talking about the trashing Brazil, but it's not like,
I don't feel like you're trashing. You haven't trashed it at all.
Yeah, I mean, but I love Brazil.
Right.
It's
you're going there. In like
to me, the best place to have fun in the world is Brazil by far. There's no other place you can have fun like Brazil in the world, and the amount of options you have. Not only beaches, but downtown, if you like, food. By far, Brazilian is the best food in the world. Of course, I'm being biased, but
nightlife,
I mean, don't even need to mention, but yes,
it's clear.
It's the best.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and then one thing you mentioned also too about the being 30, 40, 50 years behind. Yeah. A friend of mine was over in, I can't remember exactly, the Philippine, Thailand area, and he had a picture of the streets. The electric wires, you know, like we have like a wire or two that just kind of runs all the way down the street. Like these things had like, I don't know, 150
wires
like
together,
all bundled and like capped up to a building.
And those are the poor neighborhoods. You know what that means?
What?
We call cat. Cats in Brazil is gato, which is the actual animal. I don't know why people call that, but it's like one house pay for the bill, and the other house put a lot of cables to stretch to the rest of the neighborhood.
That's what that is?
Yeah.
So one person...
So nobody pays the bill at the end of the day. Like one person does, and they all divide, and everybody has the same
But so
connection.
It's called cat or gato?
For some reason. Gato,
Yeah, I know gato is cat.
So if you go to a favela, you'll see like thousands of cables together going to the same place.
And then they'll do like 19 places from there. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what happens. But those are usually the poor neighborhoods that do that.
Okay. Because, yeah, if that was here, like, in America, like, Ameren would be out there in a heartbeat. Like, this is a fire hazard.
If Ameren had access to those places, yeah.
They would light it up, huh?
And they do the same with water, too. Yeah,
The
water is
water
the
bill?
same thing. The water, I mean, the water that comes from the street, they make up several
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
they do gato with water, too.
Gato is just a cat.
Yeah, just a way for you to have different branches going to different places from one supply.
Victor, what's the goal for you? 1 year from now, we sit back here, we're doing this. 1 year from now, where are we at?
I don't know, man.
What are we doing?
I don't know. Go in life, go in business, go for the podcast. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's for the podcast.
For the podcast?
You know I would love to get to a point where, you know, we got like Adam over here. We bring up something and boom, it shows up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we're talking about it. Like, oh, here's a video. Watch this. That would be kind of cool.
I would like to be doing our episodes live. So live on the same time and same day of the week. So it's easier for people to keep track and stay in the loop as well.
Yeah.
I think the guests, we want to keep bringing the best guests we can. And the way we choose our guests is based on their knowledge. So we want to educate our audience and make sure we keep learning and laughing a little bit. But I do see ourselves bringing people from other towns, other states, people that we can bring here. They can fly, they can stay here in the area and come to a podcast. We show them the area, we show them the building and sit down for the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, our main goal is to keep educating people and learning and laughing a little bit too.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
No, I think we'll get there. We're
Yeah.
moving in the right direction. It's been a lot of fun, man.
I think the main thing is that we don't see this as a how do you say, like as a something that is wasting our time. We always have fun. We like this, so I think that's the main thing is we do this naturally.
Right.
And if we have a guest, we do. If we don't, we do this. We will launch the video anyways. We have nothing to lose or
Yeah.
to be scared of.
Except for that shoplifting story.
You might go to jail.
No, it's all right. Maybe I'll tell another one next time. I don't
Yeah.
know. I got plenty I could share. But
What about your goals
what, for myself?
for yourself, not for the podcast?
For 1 year from now, Victor, if I'm sitting here 1 year from now and my passport still has no stamps, I want you to open hand smack me on
So you want to
camera.
travel?
Yeah, if I haven't used my passport 1 year from now, I want you to open hand smack me across the face on
Okay.
our show. How
Okay.
about that?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
I don't even care at this point. I want to use it. I want to take a trip. I want to travel. I want to go. I would love to go to Brazil. I would love to, but we'll see, you know.
Yeah.
I would love to go. I would love to, like, I picture like staying with your parents or feeding
Yes.
feeding me everything over and over.
Yeah.
And then we go like ride horses down the street. No, I'm kidding. But no, I
See
would.
the anacondas?
Yeah, no, I would love to. I would actually, but 1 year from now, I would love to have a stamp or two in my passport. For
Okay.
sure.
What about 5 years from now?
5 years from now, man, let's not get too far ahead.
What's
here.
your ultimate goal in life?
My ultimate goal in life is to be an amazing father, to see my children, you know, move in whatever path that they want to, obviously in a good, safe, successful manner, whatever that means. But yeah, my goal, honestly, in life, and I've said this before, you know, we're all going to die someday.
Yeah.
And I think I will die a happy man if when that happens that, you know, my kids are in a good position, not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in a very good position, and that I've done my best to anyone I leave behind on this earth, friend or not, says, man, that dude Loren was a good stand-up dude. You know, you mentioned earlier about some of right and wrong. You know, you can't go wrong if you do things right. And so that's kind of my motto. My goal is just to do things right, be a good man, and live a good life. If I do that, I'm good.
That's good.
To be honest, outside of my kids being so young, if I were to die tomorrow, I really don't think I'd have other than not getting to use that damn passport, I would die a happy man.
Yeah.
I really would. I feel so blessed on the people I know, the life I have, the family, the support.
That's good.
I'm good. Yeah.
I would say very similar to me. Now that I have a son, I just want to, of course, the main thing I want is my son to grow as healthy and learn as much as he can. I will teach as much as I can as well, but all I want is for him to be successful as well. And of course, my health. I think after I had him, I think more about my health now, because I think, I need to be alive because I need to help him. You know, that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
So I've been taking care of myself way more now, and I do think that, I mean, that's what I look. When I look in my future, I just see him growing and me with him and Natalie, of course. But and that's the main thing. I think I stopped before him. I thought about a lot about work, about financials, about real estate, about other stuff. But then I saw that this is not as important after he was born.
Right.
And it was not somebody telling me that. It was just. He was born, I was like, oh, real estate. What is real estate compared to Juju boy?
Right. No, I can relate 100%. Man. Yeah. It's something changes. Yeah. You know, when you have a child. And my son I had first, you know. And I 100% changed everything for me. And now I'm like, man, I have a responsibility for this young man, you know. And one thing that I will say though is crazy to me, you know, you spend this like 9 months, man, like, man, please just let this be a healthy baby. And then like once the baby's born, now all of a sudden you're like, you thought you'd be like, oh, it's healthy and it's cool. Now you're like, no, don't let anything happen.
Yes.
You know, now you're still like nervous and scared. Yeah. I thought that would be over. Like, oh, it's healthy. We're good. Like now it's like, no, please don't let anything crazy happen.
I think that fear is kind of healthy for parents because you do want to, I mean, it's good for you to protect your kid.
Protect.
Yeah.
Right.
So when Juju fell today off the bed and hit his head and started crying, I was like, oh no.
Right.
You know, like he was screaming. I was like, seeing if there's anything wrong. And then he stopped screaming. I'm like, oh, thank God. You know,
it is.
Like,
but that's our job as a man, you know, as a father, is to protect and guide. Yeah. You know, not make. You know, I think we want to make, you know, you're going to do this, you know, you're going to be this type of man. Or I think that's maybe an old school way of thinking. Oh, yeah. I think our grandfathers, and that's kind of how things went. But no, you know, I just want you to be the best you. Yeah. And so, you know, my kids are a little bit older, but I'd like to check in and say, hey, you know, where are you at? What are you trying to do? And I'm going to try to do my best to hold you accountable. You said you wanted this. So. You
know, with Juju, I mean, he's 10-month-old. I agree with you. The parents shouldn't decide what the kid will do in life. But I mean, I keep buying soccer balls for him, and
that's okay. No, and that's
mini soccer fields,
right.
And
that's one thing. And
I mean, if he ends up playing baseball, it's okay.
Yeah, whatever. It is.
It's okay. You know? I don't mind.
Right, but it's one thing.
But I'll keep buying soccer balls.
He can't make decisions right now. You know, he loves them. I'm sure you put a soccer ball, he loves it. Yeah, right?
He likes it. Yeah. He likes it.
Yeah. Keep it up, bro. You're doing a good job. I can tell you. But yeah, I appreciate you continuing on this mission with me, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate you too.
All right, guys, it's a Talk About It podcast. Appreciate. Hopefully, you enjoyed some of this banter, if you will. But yeah, we appreciate your support and look forward to another episode. We have a couple good ones coming up, so stay tuned and make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss those.
Yeah, make sure you hit the bell so you know when the next episode comes up and
Talk About It podcast.
Yeah, I see you guys.
Thank you guys.
Next episode.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Talk About It podcast.
I'm Victor Dantas.
I'm Loren Fulmer.
And we would encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell. It's going to be right below the video. So
hit the bell.
So you know when the next episode is up.
We appreciate all the support.
Thank you.